The Swiss are the richest people in the world. The statistical citizen has assets worth around $500,000. Switzerland has topped all economic rankings for years. In 2023, Switzerland's GDP per capita was $88,000, putting it at the top of the world rankings alongside countries such as Singapore and the United States. The Alpine nation's low unemployment rate helps keep wages high, boosting consumption and the country's overall economy. The average net monthly salary in Switzerland is 5,000 francs, or more than $5,500. Switzerland did not become rich overnight. Less than 200 years ago, the country was relatively poor. More people left than wanted to live there. There were no natural resources, just mountains and pastures. The country's main export was mercenaries serving in foreign armies. This was banned by the Swiss Constitution in 1848, but a remnant of those days is the Swiss Guard, which has protected successive popes from 1506 to the present day. Angus Maddison, a British economist, reports that in 1820 there were 2 million people living in Switzerland, with a per capita GDP of $1,090. This compares with $1,838 in the richest country at the time, the Netherlands, and $1,706 in the second richest country, the United Kingdom. The difference in economic development between Switzerland and the Netherlands and the UK was so great that the average Swiss was almost twice as poor as a resident of the Netherlands or the UK. Since then, however, Switzerland has made a remarkable economic leap to become one of the richest countries in the world. Switzerland is a country with a diverse economic structure due to its historical heritage and natural resources. The main pillars of the Swiss economy are precision engineering, tourism, export-oriented agriculture, and banking and financial services. It is interesting to note that this diversity has its origins in the Middle Ages. In the early Middle Ages, Highlanders living in the Alps realized that the difficult terrain made dairy farming and cheese production the ideal way to exploit the available resources. The tradition of making the famous Swiss cheeses was born. These products quickly gained recognition on foreign markets, opening the door for Switzerland to export and develop its food industry. In addition to cheese, Switzerland is also known for its excellent chocolate, a result of its long history of producing this sweet treat. This specialization in the food and delicatessen industry has become a key part of the country's economic structure, attracting tourists and investors from all over the world. The heritage of dairy farming and cheese production, as well as the tradition of chocolate making, continue to play an important role in Switzerland's economy, complemented by precision industries and financial services, creating an extremely diverse and stable economic structure. How did Switzerland become one of the world's richest countries? Free trade, the absence of patent law, and mass immigration played a major role in shaping the Swiss economy. Switzerland introduced patent law relatively late, in 1907. Before that, Swiss entrepreneurs used German technology and copied it en masse, which allowed industry to develop. It was not until 1978 that the patenting of chemical substances was introduced, which had a major impact on the development of the pharmaceutical industry. As a result, Switzerland has become home to major pharmaceutical companies. The lack of patent restrictions in the Swiss industry has made it extremely dynamic, attracting entrepreneurs and scientists. To this day, Switzerland tops the rankings for economic freedom alongside countries such as Singapore, Ireland, Luxembourg, and New Zealand. Industry in Switzerland has not been burdened by patent restrictions or border blockades. Low tariffs of only 4 to 5% at the end of the 19th century, compared to 40–50% in the United States, encouraged Swiss entrepreneurs to focus on the competitiveness of their products. In addition, the country's political stability attracted many immigrants. Immigrants have played an important role in Switzerland's development, including famous entrepreneurs such as the German entrepreneur Henry Nestlé, founder of Nestlé. It was thanks to immigrants that Switzerland became a place of bountiful development and prosperity. During the 20th century, Switzerland's population growth was nothing short of impressive. Over the course of the century, the country's population more than doubled, reaching more than 8.1 million in 2016, of which up to 25% were of non-Swiss origin. A complex mix of factors, including free trade, the absence of patent restrictions and mass immigration, has helped Switzerland create a diverse and dynamic economy that is one of the pillars of its success. At the beginning of the 20th century, Switzerland became a remarkable treasure trove for Europe. As early as 1913, just before the outbreak of the First World War, it was considered one of the richest countries in the world. This fact dispelled the myth of the impure sources of its wealth. Despite its neutrality, the First World War was a challenge for Switzerland. Citizens were divided in their sympathies, depending on their region, which could have led to internal conflicts. However, the country's authorities realized that involvement in the war would risk internal conflicts and the disintegration of the state. The government therefore appealed to Swiss ideals by promoting national unity through mass-produced posters depicting Swiss symbols. Switzerland emerged from the First World War virtually unscathed, in contrast to the ruin of other European countries. In 1935, banking secrecy was introduced, and the country became the natural treasury of Europe. Thanks to its neutrality and its ability to maintain it, Switzerland was prepared for possible threats. A police-like army and solid banks with banking secrecy created the conditions not only for stability, but also for growth. But Switzerland's real economic boom came after the Second World War, when Europe was rebuilding from the devastation. Swiss industry remained virtually intact, and the country exported its products en masse to its strong but devastated neighbors, Germany, France, and northern Italy. Although the war was over, the fear of new conflicts remained. A divided Europe, the arms race, the Cold War, and the threat of nuclear attack meant that Switzerland never relinquished its role as a safe financial oasis. It has been a stable point in a changing world, maintaining its position as Europe's treasury based on its remarkable history and ability to maintain neutrality. Political stability has played a key role in Switzerland's economic development. Although it may seem paradoxical, the system of direct democracy means that the country has one of the most stable political systems in the world. This direct democracy, which allows citizens to actively participate in the legislative process, is in fact one of the pillars of Switzerland's success. Switzerland has seen a number of controversial referendums where citizens have been asked to decide on high-profile issues such as extending paid leave to 6 weeks or introducing an unconditional minimum income of 2,500 francs. In Switzerland, a referendum can be held on any subject, including financial issues, which creates the risk of unrealistic initiatives. Nevertheless, the Swiss have shown that they can run the country wisely without being tempted by utopian promises. The system of direct democracy imposes some limits on rapid legislative change, as any law passed can be put to a referendum. Switzerland's Federal Council, or government, is made up of representatives of different parties on a proportional basis, which limits the possibility of sudden changes in the direction of the country's policies. This political stability is an important pillar for the development of the economy. It is worth noting that direct democracy has a positive impact on the Swiss economy. Research by professors at the University of Barcelona and the University of Heidelberg shows that simply allowing a referendum on the economy leads to a 12% reduction in public spending. This shows that citizen participation in the decision-making process contributes to the responsible management of public finances and maintains Switzerland's economic stability. Fiscal competition between the cantons is not least the source of Switzerland's prosperity, which is of interest to the European Union. The EU has long struggled with the problem of tax competition between member states and has already introduced a minimum value-added tax to combat it. In Switzerland, on the other hand, the cantons and municipalities retain the autonomy to set their local taxes. Despite the pressure to maintain budgetary discipline and control spending, the standard of living of the Swiss population remains among the highest in the world. Tax competition between the cantons plays a key role in the development of the Swiss economy. Each canton is able to adjust its tax rates, which attracts both local companies and foreign investors. This tax flexibility encourages innovation and job creation. As a result, Switzerland maintains its position as a country with a high standard of living. which is the result of both tax competition and efficient management of public finances. For the EU and other countries, Switzerland's tax competition may be a challenge, but for Switzerland itself, it is a key element of its economic success. The national character of the Swiss is an important element of their economic success and unique way of life. Centuries of poverty, the need to defend territory against more powerful neighbors, and a long tradition of self-determination have created several distinctive characteristics in the Swiss. First, the Swiss are a people who take responsibility for themselves and their environment. They are often referred to as a nation of policemen, as everyone keeps an eye on their neighborhood and is prepared to report illegal activities to the authorities. This is due to their long tradition of self-determination, which leads them to control various aspects of their lives, including looking after the common good. In addition, years of hardship have made the Swiss extremely industrious, and they value work as a source of wealth. They firmly believe that hard work is the key to success and prosperity. Even people of high social status in Switzerland often work hard rather than enjoy privileges. What impresses many observers, however, is the modesty of the Swiss. Functionality is more important to them than ostentation. Citizens of Switzerland pays little attention to luxury or prestige, as evidenced by the example of the then Swiss president, who used the train quietly, surrounded by other passengers. In this country, wealth is often hidden behind the modest facades of townhouses and houses, and people value values such as responsibility, diligence, and modesty more than glamour or prestige. Switzerland proves that prosperity and wealth can coexist with a work ethic and simplicity. Thank you for watching the video. Leave a comment and subscribe to the channel.